All right, getting everything set up here.
Sounds good.
Let's go live. All right, that's going live. All right, let me share my stream.
Alrighty.
Speed bump's gonna cover the other one.
Cool. That sounds good.
All right, we're going live, brother. Welcome to another week, man. We're over the halfway point. 2 20-minute races today.
It's gonna be a good one for sure.
Tight battles in every class for the most part. I know Fox seems to be running away with it, but we got some new contenders for him to go up against. Cook is going to be joining us today. I think that'll be an exciting one to see join the grid here in the
Awesome.
pro class.
You're gonna love that.
Or is supposed to be. Shoot out a reminder. All right, I sent a warning shot to let him know that he is expected on the grid tonight.
Cool.
All right, well, let's take a look at the updated standings. These guys have a while till it swings around to the pro class, so we'll kind of share it with them. But we've got today in the rookie part, it gets confusing with the states, but at this event, the rookie class is going to have the Inferno leading the rookies with 49 points, Big Dean Energy with 45, and Sam with 40. A couple of guys in the 30s just shy of them. Then in the amateur class, we got Seb Bellew up top with 49, Josh Fulton and Brian number 7 tied at 44, and not too far behind them is Bontlando, Apache, Rev. Honestly, the rest of the grid, real close there. Over in the pro class, we've got Nick Cruz with 50 points, Dancy with 46, I Am a J with 45, and then Elias Flynn and Mogo pretty close by. Webba and Boat joining late, so we'll have to see where the drops fall. Then in the expert class, running away with things is Articulate Fox with 64, El Garito with 36, and Parmesan with 18. Again, a lot of season left, a lot of people joining the grid. Oh, and we've got Tommy Boy already in. So how about that?
We do. It's
Nice
good to see
and
him.
quick. Always good to see him indeed. We did have Clutch Russ get moved up from the what's it called? Rookie event over to our event today, so that'll be exciting to see. As it all shapes out. Are you able to see what we're looking
Yeah, I
at?
can see. I am indeed. I'm dialed in here.
Perfect.
I just brought over the stats here, so I kind of know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, and we'll check in with the rookie side of things just while we're looking things over. We do have, in the event that we are not watching today, Go Brian with 55 running away before the drops in the rookie class. Then King LB with 32, Lewis and Justin tied at 20, and everybody else real close behind. In the amateur class, we got Moss 99 with 52, followed by Rick Nicholson with 44, T Sydney with 42, and the rest of the grid again close behind. Finally, in the pro class, Ricky Richmond leading things off with 54, followed by Thorn Maddox with 50, Max Yang with 49, and Elvis close in the hunt. The other two guys missing a race or two, so we'll have to see where their drops lie as well.
For
Nice
sure,
healthy
drops gonna be a
grid.
big part of the season. Oh, definitely.
That it
Most
is.
definitely. quite a few guys out on track already, and it's still pretty early on in the evening. It's good to see a good, healthy grid.
Yeah, indeed. I'm seeing that we've got 10 guys connected so far in this event, 6 in the other one. So hopefully things will look pretty good. Per usual, I'm expecting to see a couple of people having difficulties joining for various reasons. You know how it goes here in the rookie servers.
Wouldn't be an event if we didn't have a couple of those.
No, no, it would not. Articulate Fox putting some pace in. So Fox and Garito already sitting in the 103s. Oh, there goes Parmesan to join them. That seems to be about the best we're going to see based on all the other lap times. Only seeing 4 guys who are able to hit that currently in the server. You see Nick Cruz was able to hit it momentarily. I'm not sure if they are in. Nick Cruz is going to be in tonight's event. Okay. Gets confusing sometimes trying to remember who's on the grid.
It does for sure. We have so many guys now.
Yeah, definitely 2 full classes. I think we are maxed out in both as far as active registrations, so people who have raced at least one race so far in the season. Pretty soon we're going to have to go through and start gauging interest to open up for another line of waitlist members there, so
For sure.
will be interesting.
Got Dean here asking me if I was part of that plane crash today in Scottsdale. It's my home airport. I'm not. Alrighty, there we go. Back in business here. Okay. It's crazy how tight this grid is already with just 10 people on the track.
Yeah, things definitely looking pretty good. Just check in. We got a few tickets opened. Just wanted to make sure about everything looking pretty good. I'm gonna let you take over for a minute. Just gonna step away, but I'll be right back, and maybe we'll try and grab some interviews.
Sounds good. Alrighty. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Let's get back into this here.
Perfect timing. I just got back as well.
Awesome.
So today's track, I think some guys might recognize from earlier in the GT3 season. Did they do it, or did we just do that in an open race? Maybe it was one of
That
our
was an
open
open
races.
race. Yep, it's one of
Okay.
our open races.
Well, for those of you who aren't familiar, we'll get a little bit more of a head-on view. The fog makes it difficult, but it is a long straightaway. This is pretty much the only area to make mistakes and to really get a good passing opportunity lined up. We also have down at the end a little bit of a spoon, so it does take a lot of patience to get around there at max speed. But I have a hunch that these guys are pretty well versed in that at the moment. Just flying the drone cam around to join in with El Garito as he heads off on a hot one. And we'll have him carry us around the grid. What do you say?
Oh, sounds good to me. I'd love to learn some of these corners here. I don't know all the names quite yet.
I'm going to turn the track so we can see which way the wind is blowing. It looks like they've got a little bit of a cross tailwind here, so nothing to really help or hurt these things too much. Except for right here where it's a nice headwind. El Garito looking pretty strong, already looking to shave off 2/10 here based on his current lap time. That'll get him into competition with Fox and Parmesan. Parmesan seeing a 103.1 in the private practice laps. Oop, Cameron just seeing now. Cameron asking who's the favorite to win tonight. A little too early to tell. I will say Fox and Parmesan do seem to have the pace to run away with it, but we've seen El Garito before. Does a good job of taking advantage of that drafting opportunity and applying the pressure, so can't count any of those three out. I don't think we have any late joiners who are going to be putting up that sort of a fight, but it is certainly not out of the question. El Garito pulling aside, not going to be doing another hot lap. He'll let Parmesan go by. And what better member to join for another lap? Want to try and pull somebody in here? I think you have the perms.
I do indeed. Let me take a look here. Who are we thinking? I think it'd be a great time to talk to Tommy here. This is going to be his first race with this season of the MX5s.
He is out on the track right now, but it's always worth trying to grab him. If he doesn't answer, we've got El Garito and Seb in the pits, but obviously all a great conversation.
You know, let's grab El Garito here. Let's do it. Okay. Let's see if I can invite him to speak. There we go.
All right, and we'll see if El Garito picks up that invitation for an interview.
There he is.
I didn't expect that.
El Garito the Great. We figured we'd nab you in the early practice moments here before you get too carried away.
You saw that lap?
I did see that lap, a 103.2.
One little mistake, man. I could have had it.
Yeah, well, that was a phenomenal one. We actually didn't even notice the time. I'm not going to lie to you. We were carrying on with it and got distracted.
Oh,
But I watched it. It's on the broadcast.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
Oop, as Parmesan heads to the pits. So you're heading into week 4 here. You've got quite the interesting gap to Fox because you missed a couple of them, so you're going to have to wait and see where the drops lie, but you do have a new racer on the grid, Tommy Boy, who's been capable of hanging with the pack before. Definitely runs the risk of joining. What were you saying?
Not today. Not with me on the grid.
So is today your day then? Is that what we're saying?
Today I beat Articulate Fox.
And take down Parmesan as well?
It'll be a plus.
It would be a plus. I like that. Well, you got 2 opportunities. I feel like you usually fare pretty well in the reverse grid. You do good at being patient, working your way through the traffic. Is there anything in particular that you're worried about today, or anything that you're hoping to pull off?
Probably the win.
Just the win. Chow, any questions for him?
I think you've answered all of them, and excited to see how you do on this race tonight. It's a very interesting track.
Alrighty. Well, Ash, we'll let you get back to it. You got 30 minutes left to practice, plenty of time before the 15-minute qual. Good luck. We hope to see a 102 out of you.
Adios.
Adios. Move him back over, Jawa. See if we can't grab. We can try Tommy Boy. He's been out on the track enough.
That sounds like a plan. I will get him moved over here.
Nick Cruz sliding in with a 103.753, just a few hundreds ahead of Tommy Boy, as Articulate Fox finds the new top time with a 103.225. So 3 guys in the 103.2s, only a couple hundred separating them. It's going to be entertaining to watch that play out. And this is still early on. We're only going to see more improvement as the time goes on. Tommy Boy with a 103.6. So So leapfrogging over Nick Cruz.
Tommy's looking pretty good tonight. There's plenty of these guys now in the 103s. Plenty of guys to battle with those top three guys there, the main particular Fox, Parmesan, and El Garito. So definitely excited to see. There's also a ton of time to be lost here at this track. One mistake, and like El Garito said, and your lap time's pretty shot.
Absolutely. Are you?
What you guys talking about?
There he is, Tommy
There he
boy. The late entry to the season, gonna be down a lap, or sorry, down a full race, so might not be able to get the gold, but are you excited to try and get a podium hunt in off the back foot?
Yeah, you know, I'm rusty as hell when it comes to the MX5s. I'm now fully using an age pattern. So we'll see how good that translates. I feel like that extra half second I don't have compared to Articulate Fox and Jesus, and don't mind me as I absolutely wipe out in the pit. I feel like the time that I'm losing is mainly down to that, and also the right foot braking, which I'm not completely used to yet.
Gotcha. I mean, it seems like you're doing pretty well. You're only a couple tenths off the pace so far. That main pack there, Articulate Fox, Parmesan, and El Garito. Have you, when's the last time you raced MX5?
Oh, when was Sachsenring? I think.
Oh boy.
No, the season after Sachsenring. I think that was.
Oh, so
man,
not
dude,
even
that's
an
been
open
almost-
race, it was a season race.
I think it was. Actually, you know what? I might have done an MX5 India with you guys.
Okay. Well,
So that might have been like one time.
At least that's something, but you are definitely coming in fresh, I'll say, but that's one hell of a starting time, and you got 27 minutes to get at least some good practice in here. You know, are you I guess, are you familiar enough to even have expectations for today's race, or are you going in fully blind?
I was going in fully blind. I stopped onto this track literally an hour ago.
And as far as the grid goes, anyone you're looking to compete with, or you don't even know where you stock up yet?
Doritos. Stop.
You said Garrido's your target? I think you're cutting in and out a little bit there. Is he for you, Joe?
He is indeed. Robot mode has been activated.
I don't know what the hell just happened there.
There you go. Welcome back. But yeah,
I don't know. I started taking off my sweater, and then all of a sudden everything went like
crazy.
Quiet.
But sorry, you said Garrido's your target for today?
Garrido's on my shit list, man.
I love it. Well, in that case, we'll let you get some laps in. You got to shave off a couple tenths, so we'll let you get back to it. But good luck today, Tom. We're excited to see where the debut falls.
Let's hope good. All right, thanks, guys.
And speaking of El Garito, he is still sitting with that 103.273, so needs to find a couple hundredths himself, which sounds crazy, but on a track this small, it really does matter. Sunday driver with a little bit of a spin through turn one as Botlando and Sam S go flying by. Try and catch up. Yeah, Patchy Jesus is off to some good solid pace there. Is Patchy? Yeah, Patchy is in this season. Excited to see when you join up, Patchy, here where things lie. Don't know if Speed has sorted things yet. Doesn't look it. Oh, Patchy talking about how easy this track is to learn in the main Discord, so definitely assuming we're going to see him at some point tonight. What do you say?
I definitely hope so.
That's too funny. Well, we got a couple of good interviews in here. We got some time left. I'm taking a look at who we've got available. You know, I know we're not covering their race, but why don't we take a look at the rookie split, see who's in chat versus who we can maybe grab. Let's see, I've got Killamilla, who is in a pretty good fight for at least podium spot, if you want to try and grab him.
Yeah, we can grab him.
Yeah, It's just first name on the board. Seems like a good spot.
Sounds good. All right. Invite to speak. Here we go. Let's see if Killa Milla is able to make an appearance tonight in the broadcast booth.
Yeah, Kelly, if you can hear us, you're being invited to interview on the broadcast. At least it's the pro event, but I know figured we'd chat with you. You just got to accept the invitation to speak on Discord, which might not be convenient to do.
We'll take a look at some of these times here. We're still seeing
Killa might be a little
guys.
busy if you want to switch out, but let's try for Max Yang as the next one on the list.
We'll grab
Sorry,
him.
you were saying?
I was saying that in our pro event tonight, we have quite a few guys that are now in that 103. So we see 7 guys who've completed a 103 in offline practice server. Only 6. We're seeing Dancy is the only guy left to put that 103 up.
Dancy did end up with a 103.8 here.
Oh, perfect. It might not updated on my end.
Yeah, might have been in the early moments.
Let's grab Max Yang here and see if he's willing to do an interview with us.
Max, if you want to accept the invitation to speak, we're trying to get a few interviews from the rookie race. Let's see if this works, or we'll just slowly mute the rookie grid by accident one by one. Alright, I guess we're gonna go on to the next one, which would be Moss 99.
We'll grab Moss here. I'll let you handle this one. I'm gonna step out and grab a little drink before we get going here too far.
Alright,
I will get him in here and invite him to speak.
Moss, if you can hear me, we've been trying to get an interview out of any of the rookies. If you want to just accept the invitation to speak. No dice? Some dice? Few dice? I'm not seeing many dice. Hold on, we're gonna do this for a minute here. Alright, we're gonna, it looks like we got Killa back, so let's send Moss back
We'll send Moss back.
And then, oh, Killa's in, alright. Can you hear us, Killa?
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, there you go.
That was weird. I was kicked out of all channels after I accepted that last invite.
That is weird.
Yes.
Well, welcome to the broadcast. I know we're not covering your race tonight. Speed Bump will be jumping in on that, I believe, in a little bit here. But we were taking a look at the standings, and we realized you guys have quite the fight going on in the rookie class. Looks like everybody before the drops is eligible, probably even up to P2 with the type of fighting you guys have going on. So how do you liking your odds for today?
I feel good about my odds today, especially with the track that we have picked out for the day. With the straightaways and the limit on the amount of turns and stuff on the MX5 car, it's really gonna bring it down to skill and technique and stuff and familiarity with the track. Because there isn't as many places to make those mistakes. You really gotta hone in on what there is and what we have to work with. So I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, we do see you've got 42 laps in the bag, so definitely some good familiarity there. We're seeing 105.3 as your personal best. It's a pretty solid start to the evening. So your main competition here looks like the King Flash, Clifford Bangs, Justin, and Lewis. Have you been keeping an eye on them tonight, or what happens when you see them on the track? Are you going to try and work together to get farther up the grid, or is it every man for themselves this late in the season?
I think at this point it's just kind of every man for themselves, especially with just like the limited comms and stuff that we have for the night. Not everybody joins the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Just the nature of being on a rookie league, not everybody's comfortable. doing that, and that's all right.
Of course, of course.
So, you know, plus it helps build the skill a lot. I know our race league in particular does offer opportunities throughout the season to like do team events and things like that. So there's a time and a place for that, and I feel like tonight and MX5 and stuff is let's go out and trade some paint and have some fun.
I like that attitude. Joe, you got anything to add to that?
Thank you real quick. Is there any strategy you have going into this? I know there's a it is 220, so it's not a 45-minute race where a pit stop is required. But is there any strategy when it comes to sticking with that big pack, the fastest guys in your race, and just trying to draft as much as possible to build that gap?
Yeah, I'll definitely be more focused on drafting and getting a gap when I can. I will. I know I was accidentally downshifted there. I know I was just talking about every man for himself, but you got to be smart about it at times too. You can build a little gap with the draft, catch up with the draft. So I'll be definitely looking to capitalize on things like that. But in all honesty, this is a rookie league, and I'm not that great at racing. Last time we had our 40-minute, and I really struggled with just focusing for all 40 minutes. I made a few mistakes in there, so I really want to just hone in, make sure I'm locked in for the 20 minutes, and take the opportunities that come. And then I like this fact that we have that reset this time, and I'll get a chance to be somewhere else on the grid and start over again and get a fresh new strategy based on that, and then lock in from there.
Most definitely, those 45-minute races can be tough when it comes to your mentality and how long you can stay focused on the race itself. But definitely understandable. It's good to hear that you're excited about this 220 race here. We're hoping to see some good stuff from you.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm definitely hoping to show some improvement for this week. And yeah, like you had mentioned earlier, Buggy, I got them practice laps this time, so trying to find everything. And earlier I was doing a little bit of spectating, which I think might be the most important part.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Learning the track and finding all these little bits of speed and where to pick them up. I'm gonna let this guy cruise past.
Well, very nice. It definitely seems like it's paying off there. You're hanging in with the pack, so we'll let you get to it and make the most of these last 16 and a half minutes there. But good luck tonight, Killa.
Awesome. Thanks. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.
Adios. All right, and we're going to take a quick second here to take a look at one of the liveries on the track, and I'm going to segue this into a special announcement. So El Garito tonight is using not only a Marlboro livery, but a championship Marlboro livery submitted by our Season 2 champion, Mr. Mo Powers himself. So on that note, we welcome him to tonight's broadcast crew. How you doing, Mo?
How we doing tonight, Buggy?
I saw you sneaking in there during the interview.
That's some pretty lively, huh?
It is. Well, how's everything been? Welcome back.
Everything's good. Can't complain. Excited for the race tonight, and also excited for the next season to start. Get back on the track with these boys.
Yeah, absolutely. Is it nice to at least see your old livery out on the grid? The number 2 is a popular one this season.
Yeah, and it's very nice to see it out there, and it's nice seeing some fellow number 2s. Even though he's Brian number 7.
Yeah, we got a lot of things like that. In the GT3s, we've got Rev 74 in the number 223 car, which I think is also the number 34 or something like that. Yeah, there's a lot happening around the grid.
Very nice.
But have you been keeping up with the season at all?
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye out what's going on.
Any expectations for tonight? Bold predictions for the evening?
I think we're gonna have a really close race tonight with those top 3 right now. I would be excited to see if Garito can pull one out and take a victory.
He's definitely getting closer and closer. I mean, Parmesan is starting to put those 103.1s that we saw him capable of in the open practice laps, but that is not too far away from the 103.229 that Garito put up a few moments ago.
Yeah.
Very exciting. Only a single hundredth separating himself and Articulate Fox, which I think is his main competition here.
Yep. Yeah.
Now,
It
yeah,
was, not last week, but last season event was a very interesting race. The 40 minutes, Parmesan getting the shit end of the stick and losing his victory. That was a tough race to watch.
Yeah, absolutely was. We've seen the higher they rise, the harder they fall so far this season. Is it exciting to see your old buddy Tommy Boy out on the track here today?
I love seeing him out there.
So it is his MX5 debut with an H pattern, as you can tell.
Yeah.
So we'll jump over to Elias Fun, let Tom get back in the groove of things. And got some of those classic rookie ones.
The throwback.
So you mentioned you're coming back to the grid down the line here.
Absolutely.
What do you miss most about being on the track?
I mean, I miss competing a lot, but more importantly, I miss chatting with the boys during the race. Practice is always such a great time. I mean, there's a lot of new faces, but also a lot of familiar faces out there. Excited to get back on the track with them.
Yeah, I know a lot of these guys probably haven't even seen you on the grid, so it'll be funny for them to finally put a face to the name here.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to work on a new livery.
Yeah, better bring back something big. I could swap over the Tom Cruise one for you.
I was thinking about trying to make something similar to that, so maybe.
Perfect. I'll look up some gluten-free sponsors for you, the whole nine. Now, Mo, have you broadcasted with Jawa before? I know obviously you guys have raced and all.
I don't think so.
I don't think we have. This is the first one.
Very nice. Well, Mo helped me with one of the endurance. I think it was the Fellberg event that you won, Jawa, right? Isn't that correct, Mo? Didn't you help broadcast that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so he's got a little familiarity with your racing there.
That is my thing, man. Endurance is some of my favorite races.
Oh yeah. Now
last week was perfect. That was a great race as well. That was probably my favorite GT3 race I've ever done here.
Yeah, the GT3, you guys had quite a battle, speed bumping yourself all the way out to the final, literally the second to last turn, I believe it ended up being on the final lap.
Yeah, it was definitely a little bit frustrating to not be able to fight all the way to the end, but it was a great race nonetheless. I'm not disappointed at all.
Yeah, I mean, that broadcast is essentially just a highlight reel of that battle. We tried to throw in a couple of glimpses at other fights here and there, but you guys did not let off the pace. I don't know, Mo, if you ended up catching that.
No, I think I missed that one.
Jawa's currently leading in the GT3 season, working with the Lamborghini. Has some new competition in the class, though, in Speed Bump with that Z4. I think Speed might have missed too many races to be able to take away the win, but could shake up the points enough to give El Garito and the Ferrari a decent advantage. So, Jawa, I'm sure you're loving that. All right, Mo. So since you've been gone, I don't know that you've been around with the split grid. Oh, Jawa, you're back.
And she's great.
Huh?
Oh, are you
Oh,
back?
now he's back.
Everybody's back.
We're back.
Oh,
All
we're
right,
back
we're
from the shadow
live.
realm.
Where do we lose you?
I don't even remember.
I think you
Fair.
said you're talking about being the GT3 season. And that was what the last part we got.
Oh, I was
It
just
said
saying that
Jawa is the
season.
that was it.
I was saying leading the season, but you got some new competition in that Z4 with Speed Bump, who might not be able to have the chance to win because I think he missed too many races, but at least has the opportunity to shake up the standings with yourself and Ash. So that's a nice layer to the
sure.
battle for you.
That's definitely the more the merrier.
And then we also have, I want to say, Josh Fulton looking still for a clean lap, do you think? I don't think the
I'm gonna take a look
105
here.
is where he's going to be sitting at tonight.
I asked
What
Josh
was he-
for a podium tonight.
So Josh is going up against Seb Bellew, Brian number 7, Bot Lando, Patchy, Rev 174, Woohoo Man, Marty McBriar, and Sunday Driver. So currently he's got a few of those guys on the grid. A few are not, so he'll have opportunity for some easy points just with them not showing up.
I do see that Josh has only had 6 laps total of practice on this track, so that 105 may just be him not quite acquainted with the track just yet, but I'm sure we'll see some improvement here during qualifying and later practice as well as these races.
Unless Josh is trying to not show his hand too much. Josh has traditionally run into some issues with bad luck, getting caught up in incidents or other people's dive bombs and stuff, so could be purposely trying to start from the back of the grid. A strategy we don't see too often here, but have seen before. I know back when we used to broadcast the events on Twitch, we had one racer stay in the pits for the entirety of qual, just to make sure that they started from the back.
It's definitely an interesting tactic with these short races. You know, there's a lot of these shorter races. Qualifying is a pretty big part of it. Definitely, you must have been one quick racer to start from the pits. Not from the pits, sorry, the back of the grid.
Yeah, I mean, definitely wasn't this season, so they had a little bit more passing opportunity, but you are right, because a day like today, that would be a big ask. There's not a lot of passing opportunity as it stands, so to have to make it through our full 18 racer grid would take a lot of speed and precision, and at that point a little bit of luck. You would need to rely on other people making a mistake or two.
For sure, especially with how close this grid is right now. We're seeing about 2 seconds or less than 2 seconds separating the P1 and P17 driver there of Mogo with a 104.7. So it's going to be a very tightly packed grid for, I would say, the majority of both these races.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting seeing how the drafting plays into this one. With that, 2 pretty long straights there. Wonder if we're going to see some teamwork or if, people are just going to go for passes.
For sure, we did talk to a couple of the racers about that earlier, and it seems like it's so late in the season now, they're all just kind of going for as many points as they can grab, and one position is better than not having that position. So we'll definitely see. I do assume during the beginning of the race we'll see a little bit of bump drafting and a little bit of team plays, trying to catch up with the packs ahead of them.
Now, Mo, you haven't really been with us since we've split the grids, but the one nice advantage of having a pro race and a rookie race is a lot of these guys are more familiar with each other and the rules of the road. So you get to see a little bit more attacking angles that you wouldn't typically see even attempted in the other event, just because of a bit more faith in one another and the ability to control the car. So
That's exciting.
So when we talk about bump drafting, I do expect we'll see a lot of these guys paying attention to who's in their class, not just who's next to them. That way they'll work with some racers, but not others.
Right.
keep hearing that like alarm. Looking to see if I can find Apache. I thought he was out on the track. Probably just drove right past me. Oop, as we check in on the safety car, which seems to be inside of the Scrub Daddy car, I want to say. Rev 174, if I had to guess. Let's take a
That
look.
looks accurate. I was
Yep.
going to say that is a
There
very
you
interesting
go.
color combo y'all have chosen for this race.
We'll check in now with Patchy in the number 4 Hornsby and Hall Racer. Whipping through turn 6 on not the clean list of laps, so going to be looking to shave off a little bit more on this next one. 3 minutes and 30 seconds remaining, just over a minute per lap. I think we're only going to see 19 laps this race, which is kind of funny. Or maybe 20, actually. I'm not sure exactly how the math is going to work out, but that'll keep it nice and concise.
You see now Josh Fulton has put up a 1:04.4, so about a 1 second better than his previous best lap as he's doing donuts here, hanging out, showing off for the broadcast.
I think he's going to draw a wiener. Hang on. Nope, just doing donuts. Okay.
Oh.
How? Hold on a minute. Where has he ended up?
Josh is now exploring the map a little bit.
All right, so Josh Fulton, I think, has to go get some gas, refuel real quick, and we'll be back to the race. Just a quick bottle of water, pack of smokes, and some snacks. And back on for the rejoin. Checking in with Bot Lando, currently sitting with 41 points, just shy of the podium in amateur class. Solid P4 to the two-way tie between Josh Fulton and Brian number 7 for second place. So those guys have 44 points. He's got 41, just a little bit to make up between them, but nothing too crazy. So far as it stands, he's doing so to Josh Fulton. Where's Brian number 7 there? Brian's got about 2/10 to him, so he's at least staying competitive. And Seb Bellew currently with a 1:03.941. I see Elias Flynn has crept into the 1:03.2s there.
So they put his name out there, being really competitive with those top guys that are normally running away with the other times here in practice qualifying.
Elias did miss a race, I believe, but currently sits with 37 points. So I think after the drops is in a pretty competitive spot with the rest of the grid. We'll see if I have the energy, but I might try and put the drops in tonight. Just get a sense of where we're at. Bot Lando doing their best to save Mogo's lap with a quick teleport to pits, but Mogo had already fell off the pace a little bit. Patchy trying to come around to get another clean one in, because it's not going to be that one. And Sam in the Harbor Freight looking to find a few more tenths if he can through this final corner. Turn 6 needs to be a big one, as that 63 card works hard. Power back down the straightaway. Might see a little bit of improvement. I don't think it's going to be enough to catch Bot Lando. It is not going to be enough to even beat his own time, unfortunately. So we'll have enough time to at least send through for one more. 45 minutes of practice, huh?
I was going to say that we do see Artila Fox now outpacing Parmesan by 0.02 of a second there. So a very, very competitive time, but nonetheless, still now sitting P1.
Wow, that is crazy. A 1:03.1, and this is before these guys' tires are going to start to warm up. This is about the coldest temperatures they are going to face on the track, sitting at 27 degrees Celsius. So in theory, it's only going to go up from here, especially when bump drafting comes into play. Most familiar with bump drafting.
Absolutely. We had an oval race. Me and Tom finished, I think, within 1,000th of each other. We bump drafted the whole entire track.
That's amazing, and I'm proud of you. We do have an oval race coming up. I think actually, is it next week that we're doing? Not next week, but the week after that we're doing Martinsville. It's got to be soon.
I'd have to check.
Well, I can see from here actually. Oh no, we've got Road Atlanta, Newark, Olton Park. What happened to the oval? Did we take away the oval? Hang on a minute. Why did we take away the oval? I thought we had an oval, didn't we?
Did the Fun Fleece take over?
Now I'm confused. Yeah, Road Atlanta. Oh, it says Port. It says Newark. That ain't Newark. That's oval. I was very confused. So we do have one more track before we go to Martinsville. We got a little bit of time. But man, I'm excited for that one. That's going to be such a good race. For those of you who don't know, Martinsville is a very small oval, so that's going to be about 30 seconds a lap or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Yes, sir, booby. It's going to be Martinsville Speedway, 2 20-minute races with a reverse grid on an oval for race 2. We have fun here. Looks like we got everybody tuned in to the pits here. So Mo, it's only been a few minutes, but what are your initial thoughts? How you feeling about tonight's event?
This is going to be dicey, I feel. With the pack this close together, I mean, luckily turn 1 is pretty long. So, and with a lot of width on this track, I hope we don't have too much collisions going on. But I think it's gonna be an interesting one, nonetheless. Almost 18 racers within a second. I think Josh has some more pace in him, and yeah, I'm excited for this. It's gonna be a good race.
Yeah, I mean, Josh definitely hiding his cards a little bit, I think, with his trip
Yeah.
to the market, things
I
like
think
that.
so too.
We'll have to see what comes of either qual or the main race itself. I still think we had offline laps and are just going to hold back to try and steer through the chaos. Which, honestly, on a track that's this open wide isn't a bad idea. These ones that have the walls and stuff, it's a little bit trickier to pull off.
Looking at the standings too, it looks like we got a lot of close. A lot of guys pretty close in the points.
Yeah, that's why we're covering this one today. Things are a little bit more spread out in the rookie event so far, but like I said, we're going to have to calculate some drops soon. So just an update, these guys, the wind definitely not a factor, only 1 km/h crosswind, but road temperature of 31 degrees Celsius, that will be a factor, and it is set to change at the 7-minute mark, so these guys trying to take advantage of that. This is typically the sweet spot in the MX5s for those tires, so let's jump on board with Seb Bellew. Oh, he's not actually our racer in front. He might be, I think. After actually, he looks like he let Patchy go by. So we'll jump on with Patchy and see how this goes. Yeah, Booby, we're definitely looking forward to Martinsville. Anytime we do the ovals here, it's good fun. We'll probably do an oval open event leading up to it, just so people can get some practice in as far as the bump drafting stuff goes, because it is very different than anything we typically do. And it can lead to some big accidents and a lot of frustrations, honestly. People do tend to get angry and leave those events more often than others. Correct me if I'm wrong here, boys.
No, definitely not wrong. I've had my fair share of frustrating moments doing some ovals.
It's just the nature of the beast. Oh, looks like we have the rookie event going live, so let me try and get that set up. I'm going to turn on auto cam. I'll let you guys cover for a minute while I get everything sorted.
Parmesan pumping out a 3.1 already. I'm excited to see if he can get it into the 102.
I definitely think he's capable of doing the 102s, especially with these tires being a little bit warmer now and more in the optimal range for grip.
That qualifying fuel setup is definitely going to help too.
Oh, most definitely. Super low fuel, low pressures, just trying to make it around as quick as possible.
It's an incredible lap to start things off with too. 103.169. Now, wouldn't have been enough to beat Fox's time in that last one, but definitely enough to set the pace and send a message. Everybody just taking their time here, trying to find a little bit of space. You can see Parmesan moving a little too quickly now, starting to move up on the traffic. Gonna have to think about a repositioning of sorts. Yes, this is not gonna be great for the lap time. Toying with the personal best, but definitely lost a little bit of momentum. So let's check in with some of the drivers we haven't seen. Starting with Sunday driver in the Long John Silver Racer. Heading through with a lot of pace, Sunday drivers got. Now, Mo, I don't know which ones, who are some of the new drivers to you? Maybe we can walk you through where they're at in the season and what you might expect from them today.
Don't think I've raced with Brian. Definitely haven't raced with Dancy. And I'm not sure if I've been on the track with Sunday driver.
So I don't think you have either. All three of those guys definitely newer ones, I believe, in this season for all of them. Maybe Dancy was in the tail end of the last season. But all definitely breakout performers. Brian, number 7, has come in like a force, competing with Josh Fulton in that amateur class currently for a P2 spot. And honestly, both of them very close to the chance for the lead. Dancy also made their way up pretty quickly from the rookie class event. After the first one, they were immediately reclassed into the pro category along with Elias Flynn. So just to give you a sense of the speed both of those guys have pushed through. Booby, thankfully netcode hasn't come into play, knock on wood, too much in most of these events. Usually there's only 1 or 2 racers that experience some issues, and honestly people are pretty good about leaving if their issues are too big for the night and not wanting to mess up anyone else's race. So when you have those oval events that have the 2 30-minute slots, the 30-minute practice and 30-minute qual, you get a lot of chance to iron out those kinks and see what's doable and what's not. As we see that, Brian, number 7, disconnects momentarily. Hopefully will rejoin before the race. So Java, let's talk about initial thoughts here as Tommy Boy Tokyo drifts through turn 4 and qualifying hits the 8.5-minute mark. What are your thoughts on some of these initial performances?
Now, I'm loving how tight the grid is right now. We're seeing literally do less than 2 seconds of time difference between P1 to P18 there. I'm hoping to see some really good battles tonight, especially with those top guys that are really similar in times at least. I definitely expect to see a little bit of carnage today because of how tight the grid is. Turn 1's going to be interesting, especially because the speed you carry into it there off the grip here. But altogether, I'm just excited to see some more Miata racing. I've been gone for a little bit when it comes to the broadcast. I'm ready to see it from the third perspective, not being in the car itself.
Yeah, you've definitely been caught up in your fair share of wheel-to-wheel action recently, so can't say I blame you. Let's tag along with Josh Fulton here, see what they're putting up on these laps. You can see that car is loose.
It is indeed. I do know that Josh does prefer a more oversteery setup in most cars. We've built setups together plenty of times in the past. And he strongly dislikes understeer, and these cars are notorious for it.
Fair enough. I mean, he does seem to be making it work here, putting on some strong laps. Again, though, he does need to be catching up to Brian number 7 and Seb Bellew, so needs to shave off about 4/10. That's a crazy how tight this grid is. That they are 10 spots away, and it's only a 4/10 difference. He really has to push to find a little bit of extra time.
Most definitely. I do now see that Brian number 7 has said that he is in the broadcast booth for some interrogation. If you'd like to come in here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me invite him to speak then.
We're gonna get copyright strikes for showing his thing.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, welcome Brian, in the Sonic Racer.
Probably.
Oh, I was thinking for next season putting like Farming Simulator on there, and we might actually get copy strikes for that.
We'll roll the dice. So, getting pretty far underway here. We got 6 minutes remaining of qual. You're sitting with a 103.96. Just barely shy of 100th away from Seb Bellew, one of your main competitors for the evening. How are you liking your spots to start things off?
It's all right. I think that I could always make up maybe a couple more tenths or so somewhere throughout the corners. Those corners are really good for experimenting with and taking different lines and seeing which line works best for us.
Yeah, so is there anybody on track that you've been practicing with, or you plan to try and get a little drafting opportunity with if you can?
Well, I've been trying to follow Parmesan, Garrido, and Articulate Fox, but they've been just, too quick out of the corners for me, and it seems like also I tried a different setup, and it seemed to do a little bit better, so I have a feeling there's another setup out there that might be a little better than what I got, but we'll kind of make what we got with it.
I love to see it. Well, that sounds pretty good. Now, there's not a lot of passing opportunity here around the track. Is there anywhere that you think is going to be your best shot if you get into some wheel-to-wheel action where it's worth being patient till you get there?
If you get a good run out of the corner, you might be able to capitalize on a straight, but otherwise you just kind of got to be risky and, go for the dive bomb. Just hopefully you don't take anyone out, and that's definitely not my intention. You just got to do some late braking magic there.
You got to do what you got to do to get things by. Does any of you guys have some more questions for him before I let him get back to qual?
I think you've covered all the bases.
Absolutely. Best of luck tonight, Brian.
Thanks, guys. You guys have a good one, and we'll be racing.
Good luck.
Good to hear from those guys, or at least Brian there.
Good to hear indeed. We're getting close to the end now. That's a tight spot for some of these guys to be in. I think it's going to start to get a little bit stressful. We're going to see guys really start to push, and we'll see a few more times. I'm seeing green sectors all across the board, but no one able to capitalize on any full laps just yet. So stick with Mogo and see if maybe he can make something happen for us here. as two of our more competitive racers, what's going through your minds at this stage of the game?
By this point in qualifying, if you can try to squeeze out and get another 10th or so, but for the most part at this point, I'm just seeing who's around me and who I think will be a good target to take a position from once the lights go up.
I completely agree with that. When it comes down to these last 2.5 minutes, if I set a pretty good lap that I'm happy with, I tend to sit in the pits and just kind of think about my strategy going into it, make sure that my setup's dialed in completely, and go from there.
Yeah, well, we see a few guys taking into your strategy. One of them, Elias Flynn, with the breakout lap of the evening, I'd say. 103.153, putting him at the top of the board. We keep talking about these three guys. Well, Elias is reminding us that there are other competitors here on the track and that nothing is ever set in stone. So, outstanding lap from Elias there in the 77 Bo Ellis Racer.
For sure, definitely. That 103.153 is definitely a very impressive lap. One thing we have seen that I would like to mention is that a lot of these guys that we've seen, the newer guys, are hot lappers. We've seen a lot of these guys that have struggled a little bit keeping up the pace when it comes to side-by-side racing. That may come into play today. I'm not quite sure. I haven't seen some of these guys race before, so it's definitely going to be interesting. But we did see a little bit in the GT3 races this past week. These guys that are super, super quick, having a little bit of trouble when it comes to the actual side-by-side racing.
Yeah. Ooh, as we see Seb Value going off into turn 3. That side-by-side is definitely the make or break for these guys. I will say as the season's gone on, we see that familiarity growing with one another on the grid. So it's been more and more exciting. We've seen the battles last longer, but experience does seem to always come out on top. So something definitely to consider as we reach the final moments of qualifying and get ready for the main event itself. Just to check in with the other side of the board at the moment, on the rookie race, we've actually got Thorn Maddox only 7/1000ths of a second away from a 103. So that would put him P13 in our event. And even that grid is only separated by less than 2 seconds for the top 14 positions. And it looks like King LB might still be looking for a clean lap, sitting at a 107. So everybody's pretty close together on this track to the point where if we were to get them all on one grid, we might see a Congo line from start to finish.
Oh, for sure. That was going to bring me to my next point. Do you think we're going to see some lap drivers here? It is such a small track and everyone's so close. It might not be an issue, but after 20 minutes and 19 laps, there's got to be a few guys that just are having a tough time that may become back markers to slow those top guys down just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll all come down to how clean everybody can keep things through. Ooh, this is going to be a good lap from Josh here. 104.160 ties Bot Lando. That's actually pretty big for him in the standings, so will be nice for him to keep that position. But yeah, it'll come down to how clean everybody can keep it through the chicanes the first time around. That's going to be the make or break area. I think we're all coming to see it. And if everybody makes it through cleanly, I could see it. But I'm sorry, if everyone makes it through cleanly, I could see there being no lap traffic. But one slip up, and I think that's going to come into play in the back half of the race, just especially with the motivation draw.
For sure, and this track is definitely interesting because we're seeing some of the guys that are only super quick around the MX5s not be quite as quick as we're used to. We're seeing Mogo and Dean as well as Josh not quite at their normal pace or spot on the grid. We're seeing those guys mainly in the top 12, and we're seeing them struggle a little bit today with this track itself. So maybe this track is just tough for some of these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is one of those tracks where frustrations definitely can set in. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some disconnects towards the back half of race 2, only because it's very monotonous. There's not a lot of differences. There's no real big elevation changes. It's all very slight, very subtle. So with as many laps as they've already done at this point, they're looking for action, and if they don't find any, it's going to be tough to keep your head in the game.
Most definitely, especially if you're not side by side with somebody the entire race, you really have to lock in and just lap over and over and over again to catch the guys in front of you, or even stay away from the guys behind you. It does seem that the grid locked in now. We're seeing Elias Flynn there put at that 103.1, being that pole position. Parmesan not far behind, about 1/100th of a second behind. El Grito there in P3 with a 103.3, followed by Articulate Fox with a 103.345. So only 3/100ths of a second behind. We got Dancy in P5, followed by Nick Cruz, Tommy Boy. Apologies, Rev 174. We have Apache, and we have Sam there in the 103s as well. Sebastian, Ryan number 7, Bot Lando bringing up P13. That's going to be all of our drivers that are within that 103 range. Followed by Big D Energy, Mogo, Woohoo Man, Sunday Driver, and Jock Fulton, all within only 1 second now.
Josh acknowledging in chat that there's a reason he's only done like 10 laps. We had a sneaking suspicion that that's what was going on. I know he's no longer in the chat, but yeah, that is kind of what we were thinking, is starting from the back to avoid the chaos. Elias acknowledging the breakout time, but that is a good spot to be in. So taking a look at the grid, I'm not sure where they're going to start. I think they're going to start in these spread out boxes, as we hear that air horn once more. But we'll jump in with Elias Flynn. So we'll take it from the top. 48 seconds. Mo, do you want to read down the starting order?
Jawa already took care of it.
Oh, did he? Oh, he did. Yeah, just.
Indeed.
There we go. Well, Mo, your GOAT today is going to be El Garito over here, sitting in P3 currently, just so you can get a glimpse of the old livery. But 27 seconds remaining. This time they have a 19-kilometer-an-hour tailwind down the straightaway, 32-degree track temp, so nice, clear, clean conditions for them. I don't think it's going to get any better than that as the lights gear up. I'm excited to see this one go, huh?
Oh, definitely. It's going to be some insane racing here in T1 as the lights are about to drop.
And speaking of T1, let's head towards it. Parmesan gets a little bit of a cleaner jump than Elias Flynn in the back. We see a little bit of bunching up, some squeezing. I think that's Josh Fulton getting squeezed in the back already, but staying back just to see where everyone ends up. We see a crash. Big Dean Energy ends up going wide into the wall. It looks like some sort of an issue. Contact there is going to lead to a little bit of chaos, as Patchy and I think Rev 174 find themselves caught up in the mix. We've got Sam and Mogo doing a little bit of side-by-side action here in the back. Things are kind of all over the place, but we are getting back to the action. Let's jump up a little bit further in the grid. Looks like we've got a 3-man battle going on between Dance, Articulate Fox, and Tommy Boy. We'll see who can come out on top of this one. As Tommy Boy
gaining 9 positions in the first turn is unbelievable.
Wow, that strategy of hanging back definitely worked out. Puts him in front of Brian number 7, which was crucial, but does still need to gain the spot to Bot Lando. So you see a nice clean line from top to bottom here. No one really going for any big moves. Oh, as I say that, we've got one just slightly further ahead. Articulate Fox going for the dive on Tommy Boy. Going to turn it into a little bit of a switchback, so they'll have to get creative. Although Tommy Boy puts a wheel in the grass and is now playing a little bit of defense as Dance trying to pick up a position in the hunt. He won't be able to as Tommy hangs on for now, but that is going to be a bit of a dangerous draft for Tommy to try and keep the position with. We see Dan's pulling alongside, going to try and be late on the brakes. It'll squeeze Tommy to the inside and give Dance a chance at having somewhat of a bigger run up, but it seems like they have to let up off the gas just a moment to make sure they don't avoid the contact. Sunday driver looking for something on Brian number 7 down the main straightaway. Some nice wheel-to-wheel action here heading into lap 3. And I think Sunday driver's going to try and go for the outside move here. Sends it a little bit too far outside and loses grip, but carries back on. That'll give Mogo a chance as he sniffs the inside, but sees what's happened to a couple of these other drivers with their early lap chaos. Doesn't want that to be him just yet. Patchy, on the other hand, gonna look for something heading into the second straight, trying to get into a side-by-side battle with Big Dean Energy. Dean does have the acceleration to hold him off, so it'll become a battle of the brakes into turn 6. The number 63 car managing to stay late enough to be out front, but Patchy still tries to get nice up and close and personal to line up something here on the main straightaway. A little bit further up the grid, we do see Dancy looking for a move on Tommy Boy. A little bit of bump drafting going on between them, judging by the live timings. Same with Patchy and Big Dean Energy here. Sorry, Patchy and Sam here.
Wow.
As Patchy gets the late dive in. Beautiful acceleration. That'll keep him out front for a little bit, and you hear Sam run into the grass. So that will be the end of the acceleration hunt and give Patchy a chance to try and move up and alongside. Further up the grid, we've got quite the battle going on. Glad we didn't miss all the action, as Botlando looking to split the difference on Dancy and follow Nick Cruz around turn 6 back into the battle for the podium spot. We do see a group leading the way. It's going to be a group of 4 instead of the group of 3 like we thought. Articulate Fox clinging on, only 1.1 seconds away, as Botlando going to be within the draft, but not enough to make a move. Oh, I stand corrected. He might be able to be close enough to get moved on, but hangs on late to the brakes. I think that's going to be Tommy Boy spinning out. Tries to stick with Nick Cruz, but loses the position in the end. We're going to jump on with Dancy here to try and get a view from the back. Doesn't look like anything's happening here. Oh, but El Garito making the decision to work together with Elias Flynn, trying to get closer to Parmesan. Knows a little bit of teamwork might be in his interest. These guys are not in the same class, so El Garito could use the nudge, and it's working. He's gaining a 10th or 2 to Articulate Fox behind. Ooh, Fulton with a pass on the inside to Brian number 7. Looks like, ooh, almost a bit of contact, but Sunday driver and Brian managed to keep moving and avoid it. Josh will move back into P8 as these guys form a little bit of a train down the straightaway. That bump drafting worked. You can see that battle for P1 is getting very close together. We're going to stick with these guys just to see if Brian is able to make another move happen. Certainly looking for one, but Josh able to take away the inside lane when he needed to most. It carries on with the position. Just a little update for the grid. Tommy Boy did end up back in P16 following that unfortunate spin. 13 minutes remaining. It's going to be tough to make it back up, but not impossible, as we see some bump drafting going on with Sam and Tom. They try and get back to the pack ahead. As we get close to the halfway point, boys, what are your thoughts here?
Garito is doing great with this bump draft. Not only putting a couple extra tenths behind on Articulate Fox, but he's in the hunt for Parmesan now.
Yeah, right as you bring it up, Broadcaster's curse strikes maybe, and he abandons the strategy. He still has 13 minutes of racing to go, so we'll see how that works out. I think he's hoping Elias will return the favor, which he does. So that might be enough to keep those guys fighting. We'll jump back a little bit because it looks like we've got another train going. This time, Woohoo, Mogo, and Sunday Driver. Woohoo and Sunday Driver are in the same class, so that'll be a battle for position between the two of them. Mogo just hitching a ride at the moment, trying to catch up to really Dancy ahead, so he's got a big gap to close if he can, with only 12 minutes remaining. I feel like every time we look away, someone else gets close. As Woohoo Man gonna look for the acceleration off of the switchback here. Hope that side-by-side battle slows him down to try and pick up the pieces. As those two guys are battling hard up front. It's definitely gonna cost Sunday, yep, a little bit of acceleration as he loses a position to Woohoo. And Woohoo able to carry the speed to at least turn this into a shootout down the back straight. It'll all come down to breaking into turn 6 one more time. We saw this movie before between Sam and Patchy. And the inside car pulls out in front just like last time. So that inside lane, a big advantage into that turn there.
Yeah, both turn 6 and turn 1. It's a huge advantage getting yourself onto the inside.
It looked like El Garrido was going for it for a moment. We saw the delta momentarily shift to within 0.1 second. So gonna try and stick with these guys for a minute here, because I think if El Garrido gets the chance to go in front, he's gonna take it. And if Elias can give him one more bump draft here on this straight, that could be the game changer. Fortunately, I don't think he'll get that chance. Garrido trying to line up the switchback maneuver.
I don't think anyone's going to have much luck trying to get a pass on the outside on that turn.
Yeah, I really think the chicanes are really going to be their only opportunity, or the S's, whatever you want to call them. Oop,
Yeah,
as I say that.
Parmesan knows how important that inside lane is.
We might get a 3 wide into turn 1 here as Elias debates going in for the late break, but follows Parmesan down the inside. This could be costly for El Garrido. He might have to go back to his bump drafting strategy if he can't slot back in. Oh, which he dangerously does. But Elias able to keep the pace and the position.
Gives Parmesan some room to breathe too.
Not too much, as these guys are working together to get close, but all that fighting has let Articulate Fox drop to within 0.8 seconds now of that group ahead, and there's still 9.5 minutes remaining. Wow, Garrido does take it with a lot of speed. He's going to go through. We'll try and jump up a little bit closer here because Elias Flynn's going to catch a toe. Oh, as Parmesan, a little bit of a rubbing his racing moment, ends up slotting back now almost to P3. Oh, as Elias is going to try and nudge El Garrido along. And that gives Garrido a chance to try and make a move and hold on to the position for a lap here. So this is going to be his first real chance to put a little distance and hold the lead. But I don't know how long it's going to last, because it looks like Elias is lining up for a bump draft on Parmesan. He is, so Elias,
it's interesting for us.
He's playing both sides, so he comes out on top no matter what.
Oh, squirrely.
Does indeed, and that gives Articulate Fox a chance to try and make a move down the inside. So this will be an opportunity we haven't seen. Fox knows he doesn't have the speed, so he'll get back in with a draft. And now it's up to Fox. Is he going to adopt the same strategy as El Garrido? He is, as Parmesan is not. We'll jump over to that battle for just a moment to see if Parmesan can pass on the outside. Thinks about it, but doesn't get the speed to pull it off. Will slot back in. And Garito lives another few corners. I know these guys have been fighting for a while and we don't want to miss anything. I think Parmesan sees Fox catching up behind and knows he's got some time, so he's going to leave that alone for just a moment. We'll jump back further in the grid in this battle for P9. We got Mogo Apache, Seb, Josh Fulton, and Tommy Boy all very close together. Tommy Boy and Josh working together now to try and get by. Oop, as I say that, you can see across the way, Parmesan has taken the position from El Garito, and El Garito is going to probably try and take it back down that straightaway. So I'll jump back in with them in just a moment, but Tommy Boy grabbing one spot from Josh Fulton now finds himself in P13 with 7 minutes to go. Oh, as we've got a huge battle shaking up over here. So El Garito now finds himself in P3, danger of falling back to P4 as Fox directly behind. Parmesan safely back up in the lead, and Elias Flynn becomes the battering ram to help these guys catch back up. These guys are all pushing very hard, able to keep the contact clean enough to keep the cars moving. Elias sees Garito going up that inside. I'm not sure what the swing to the outside was. I think it's because he knows he's not in the class and might just want to let these guys keep racing. But as I say that, he slots right in front of Articulate Fox. It takes away his chance of sliding through to join this battle. Looks like El Garito gonna try and get through as we see a little bit of contact, both cars going up on two wheels, but managing to keep moving through. Nobody wants to back down, and that is certainly keeping things interesting here. As we look even further back in the grid, a lot of position changes going on. Apologies to those racers because we're not covering all of the battles. So, Joe, I don't think we're going to see lap traffic this time around.
Does not seem like it at all. These guys are all pretty close together. You see that huge pack behind.
Contact there. El Garito and Parmesan. El Garito pulling back to wait for Parmesan to rejoin, but that's going to give Articulate Fox a huge advantage. One that El Garito did not want to give him this late into the season, but Fox now pulling ahead of Elias Flynn, and patience is a virtue. We do see a couple of cars now all getting close together. Nick Cruz using his speed to get back into this fight up front. Nick is battling with Elias Flynn, so every second counts. You can see a single spin out is all it takes. And we'll see if Nick gets that opportunity. We'll jump a little bit further back as Sam and Seb Bellew seem to be battling things out as well. This time through turn 2, you can hear Rev 174, the other yellow car on the grid, looking to pick up those pieces. I mean, it at least gives us a chance to check in on some of the other battles around the grid, but not how I was hoping to see that one end.
Not at all. It just proves our point that one little mistake causes so much change in the grid here, especially this late in the race and how short this track is.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully we do have a reverse grid opportunity, so they'll get the chance to have that fight once more, but it will be a moment or two while they regroup and try and get that momentum back. As I say that, we actually got a little bit of a battle going on between Dance and Botlando for P6. Not in the same class, so Botlando doesn't necessarily have to push as hard to keep this one, but I know Botlando will be looking to stay in front of Brian number 7, Seb, and Josh Fulton today. Oh, and Rev 174. We got quite a few of the amateur class on the grid. will say the battle for P1 in this event separated by only 2/10. The battle for P1 in the rookie event separated by only 7/10. So close action all the way down to the wire here. Elias Flynn seems to be just kind of enjoying the draft for the moment, not really pushing too hard just yet. Not going to say no to an open door, though. Can't say I blame him. Might have got him with broadcaster's curse there. Tommy Boy looking for a move on Mogo, looking for an outside move in through the S's. And both racers will go a little bit off their line, but that'll give Tommy a chance as he gets a better exit into the back straightaway. So Tommy moving into P9, 3.3 seconds to make up with only 2 minutes remaining. Going to be a difficult one. Not sure where we missed it, but Articulate Fox lost the position to Elias Flint. As I say that, Fox looking dangerous. He comes roaring down the outside of the track, getting close to Flynn's bumper. I think at this point we're going to see probably another lap after this one. So Fox doesn't have to make the move here, but everyone's got to start thinking about getting close. Tommy Boy and Mogo switching positions one more time, but so are our leaders. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. I know these guys, again, are not in the same class, but this is not a fight that we want to miss. As Fox manages to take away the inside, Mo said it best, that outside lane is a hard one to stay in front on. But somehow Elias finds the pace, doesn't make it look easy, as he will power on through and try and take one more lap in the lead. On that last one, he did finish just barely in front of Fox before the line. So he just needs to do what he did one more time. We do still have Mogo and Tommy Boy, as well as Patchy, Sunday Driver, and then Rev, Sam, and Seb Bellew all still fighting for positions. So trying to keep an eye on that on the live timings as Fox looks to hang on in the final few corners. 12 seconds remaining, so this is definitely going to be the last lap and the final opportunity. Elias knows that, is not going to go for the draft, but tries to line up for the outside. That's going to be a tricky one to get back around on, as Fox will pull ahead for a moment. Elias needs to make something happen, has a lot of acceleration, and that could be enough. Fox goes for the squeeze, but it won't matter. Elias Flynn crossing the line in P1. Mogo and Tommy Boy still in their fight, heading around the final corner here. Mogo catching that initial lead, but Tommy Boy, hot in the draft, won't get their opportunity. You're going to jump a little bit further back to Patchy and Sunday Driver. Sunday Driver managing to keep the pace, will be able to hang on. A little bit further behind, Rev 174 and Sam also able to hang on. Josh having a little bit of a spin around the final corner. Some slight contact with Woohoo Man, but Woohoo able to bring it around the corner and bring it home. Josh, we'll see. He carries on. Nope, goes back to the pits. And that'll round off race 1.
Gotta say, it wasn't on my bingo card with Flynn winning that one.
I feel bad. We didn't really highlight the pace that he was putting out in practice. We did start in qual, but even then we weren't really addressing him as a contender. So the underdog, I think it's fair to say, Elias Flynn, takes it by 0.03 of a second from Articulate Fox. Fox does manage to hold off Parmesan, who stays less than a second away from El Garito. And then further down the grid, you can see only 26.8 seconds separating the top 15 drivers on the grid. That is a close race after 20 minutes, at least by real rookie racing standards. And one that was certainly exciting to watch.
That was electric.
Boogie, woogie, woogie. Oh, Mo, you have a spot, by the way, if you want to log in with a broadcast car. I mean, now I guess it doesn't matter. I should have told you during qual. But I just remembered that. That's why Java doesn't. So, like, that was kind of the whole point. It was a little rude of you to take his spot. Not use it. How could you not know?
That's wild. I'm a bad person. What can I say?
That's a possible deviation. I have to give you a phone number.
Let me know when you're ready to copy.
Ready to copy.
Got a number for you to call? Hey, I've seen those memes.
Those are the best ones, man. Little NASA report for you.
I get like a surprising amount of aviation memes. I think because I sent so many to Mo. Oh, Mo, I'm still locked out of my Instagram.
Really?
I think too many people reported it when it was hacked, and now that I got it back, it's just like kaput.
Oh, shit.
And like, I just don't feel like making another one. I've been on the fence. It's kind of nice not having it.
Yeah.
Completely off topic, Mo. Did you see the incident in Arizona today?
Oh yeah, the one Scottsdale.
That's half a mile from me. It's my report.
Oh man.
That was Mo.
Crazy stuff. Mo just put the PJ down where he wanted to. Cleared for whatever runway you're feeling.
I don't follow no rules. It was on the ground though, right?
I don't know actually. I haven't looked at the reasoning behind it, but it was definitely unfortunate.
Yeah, it is.
Final lap. Man, look at everybody already in the grid. They're just ready for this next race here.
The hitboxes is very interesting on this track.
I like it.
I do too. It's kind of cool.
It's a slight
it would
change.
Not be great for an endurance one, but it'd be good for these.
You can hit them at any angle, right? So you can drive diagonal.
Onto a CD, I gotta hit them straight on and be right in the middle of them.
Yeah. You can see all the drivers chatting away there. El Garito acknowledging the battle. I'm sure that one hurts a little bit more, but we get a reverse grid here, so that's going to be exciting to see. Unfortunately, Josh Fulton not able to take advantage of the reverse grid. Going to start from the back, although that fared him pretty damn well in the first race. That got him 9 positions.
Oh, definitely. I mean, he definitely had a tough time there. Last race must have been some incidents that he got caught up in, but making up 9 positions in the first corner was definitely very impressive.
So from the top, we've got Woohoo, Rev, Sam, Seb, Patchy, Sunday, Tom, Mogo, Brian number 7, Dan C, Botlando, Nick Cruz, El Garito, Parmesan, Fox, Elias Flynn, Josh Fulton, and Big Gene Energy to round things off. We've got 18 seconds until the lights will lock on with Woohoo Man up in the front. As we take a look at our reverse grid to end week 4 here. An electric race 1, hopefully to see the same battles through race 2. Going to be tricky to watch the passes, but only one way to find out. As that inside lane proves to be the faster one once more. Rev 174 getting off on the jump, and you can see the perks of that reverse grid as everybody gets very close and bunched up. We're seeing 4 wide for a moment there, now 2 wide, so a little bit less dangerous. We'll keep an eye through turn 1 though to see if there's any contact. This is going to be tricky. This many cars trying to get through this tight of a space. Woohoo hanging on to P3. Oh, as we see the inevitable spin there. A couple of cars caught up. That's going to be El Garito, unfortunately. We've got Sunday driver Nick Cruz and Elias Flynn all caught in that one. So that's a tricky one. They'll all be fighting to get back up to the pace. We're now with Lando, Big Dean Energy, and Articulate Fox not far away from this main grid. As we see them all working together to try and catch up. Rev 174 and Tommy Boy starting to put a little bit of a gap, but not too much to the pack behind them. Articulate Fox making a way through position there. Patchy and Mogo locked in a shootout that's going to get dangerous for Sam because these guys are going to want to be late on their brakes. He's going to have to be as well to avoid the contact. Apache interested in the self-preservance, or sure. And
That's what he said.
yeah, this sounds right. I know how to spell it. And manages to make it through without that contact to Sam and takes the position for Mogo, or rather holds on to it. Parmesan looking for a position, or two, as he goes for the bump draft on Seb Bellew, but it looks like Seb wasn't ready for it. That's going to let a couple of cars move on through. Sam and Patchy looking to carry on. That's going to turn this into 3 wide for a second through turn 6, but Sam goes off, has to rejoin, and will enter into a fight with Josh Fulton. See a couple other cars still fighting it out. Elias and El Garrido now have cut down a 1.5 seconds off of their initial gap there to the rest of the pack, actually now within a second, so those guys do have an opportunity to get back into the hunt. Over 17 minutes to go. As we see a little bit of pinball action, and that was Seb Bellew spun out up front. I didn't see, it looks like a little bit of a bump draft with Patchy situation, according to the live drivings. Gets Seb sideways, and he will carry on through. Our dark horse, Tommy Boy, currently sitting with a 0.1 gap to Rev 174. I'm not sure why it gets blurry. There you go. Randomly. But Tommy Boy carrying on the pace to try and carry through and put a little bit more of a gap to the rest of the pack behind. Definitely something you want to do and take as much advantage of the rest of this early grid as you can. I thought I saw a big pack forming in the back here, as we've got Dancy, Josh Fulton, El Garrito, Elias Flynn, all barreling down on Big Dean Energy. So Dean going to be having to watch behind, as all 4 of these guys looking to get as many positions as they can through this next lap. Josh Fulton going to carry around the inside, take away a spot from Dean, and that'll at least give him a little bit of a cushion, as that number 14 car will take away an opportunity for one of these guys to attack. But Dean himself goes for the move, carries around the inside lane there. El Garrito going to look to pick up the draft from Dean and carry past Fulton. Elias Flynn desperately trying to carry on, so he's using Fulton's draft at the moment. But Josh a little bit early on the brakes to try and make sure that there's no contact with these other cars in front. They try and take advantage of that inside lane. Five cars locked in the battle for P9 at the moment, and P9 is not very far from the top at this stage in the race, so these guys just need to keep up the pace as we see a couple of dive bombs, turning this into a 3 wide through turn 1. And Elias Flynn comes out on top. El Garrito trying to defend that inside lane to stay with him, but loses a little bit too much speed and gets caught up in contact with Big Dean Energy. Dean goes out into the track and falls back a couple of spots to P17. Wow, that's how close the grid is. Dean's all the way at the back just from the one spin, so everybody definitely needs to stay on their game, take advantage of any opportunities they're presented with. Josh Fulton and Dancy looking for the side-by-side through turn 6 into the final straightaway. Josh avoiding a little bit of contact, loses some speed, but able to put up the fight here on the beginning of lap 6. Nick Cruz gonna help him out and try and use him to catch back up to a few of these guys ahead. Again, we can see the overall grid not too far away. We're gonna jump over now to Elias Flynn and Mogo. Traditionally, we see Elias go take advantage of these bump draft opportunities on the straightaways, so we'll see what he does here. Looks like he's gonna go for the pass.
that car is looking awfully fast today.
It is. He is absolutely ripping through these straightaways, getting excellent exits the vast majority of the time. So his consistency, I think, is what's really coming into play over the course of these two 20-minute races. As we see all these bump draft chains coming up. That is a lot of collisions that'll be in the server. Only the 12km/h or more will trigger it though, so these guys are able to bump draft freely as long as they don't spin each other out. We actually have an interesting development up in the battle for turn 1. Parmesan seems to have caught up and is now using some bump drafting of his own to try and catch up to Tommy Boy. Tom checking his mirrors, sends it a little bit too wide into turn 6. And will give Rev an opportunity to look to the inside while Parmesan hangs back, waiting to pick up the pieces.
Tommy can't give up the inside here.
He's just lurking there. We're gonna back out for just a second here as all those guys seem to be working together for the moment. Don't see any clear passing opportunities going on, so we'll see what goes on between Garito, Fulton, and Dancy. I know they'll work together, but the question is for how long, as we see Garito make a cut for the inside. He's looking for that move here on this lap. Fulton knows he's not in the same class. Gonna let that one go, that way they don't lose too much speed into the main straightaway, as Dancy struggles to keep the pace in front, and Garito will start to walk on. Patchy looking for a move on Articulate Fox himself. This is a big move from the Brit here, currently in the amateur class. Doesn't need to fight with Fox, but definitely within his wheelhouse to do so. Brian number 7 currently in this class, so can use that drafting opportunity to try and make up a few spots. Maybe hold off Botlando in the process, or at least work with Botlando to turn into a three-way fight up front. So we'll let those ones go by because I think we see a little opportunity going, which we do. That'll be El Garito and Nick Cruz making passes down that straightaway there. Nick Cruz getting the jump on Sam S, looking for a move on Josh Fulton now, as El Garito gets by Dancy. So a couple of passes from those two there. We'll see now how Patchy able to hold off Botlando in the number 4 Chrome Racer as he tries to take the inside squeeze, but not able to make too much advantage of that outside line. I feel like Elias is the only one we've seen pull that one off.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Just realized my mic is muted the entire time. Oh,
I was gonna say, I thought you guys were a little quiet.
yeah, I was adding some input, but it was not being heard.
Well, Patchy moving on through, gaining a position on Botlando through turn 3. Now trying to find his way up past Brian number 7. Is not going to go for the bump draft. We'll just carry on through. I think Botlando, though, will be thinking about it. Might have to split the difference. He does, so that's going to box in Brian number 7. And he'll have to rely on Patchy's braking point, which gives Botlando a chance to hold on to that inside lane. And both racers will carry on through to P5. Jesus has finally taken the position here. Gets away from Parmesan as Tommy Boy now tries to make a little opportunity of his own down the back straight. Gives a single bump draft and then goes for the late brake opportunity. We've seen him take a couple switchbacks before, but I think he's hoping that late acceleration will give him the speed to make something happen here. but you can only do so much through the chicanes or the S's, sorry, as Parmesan will move forward and Tommy Boy will have to cling on to that draft. Josh Fulton seems losing a position to Seb Bellew, now dropping down to P15. What is a very tight grid. 8 minutes remaining. P15 is definitely not the end of the race.
Tommy Boy has an incident.
Oh, Tommy Boy does have an incident. Tommy Boy must have had a spin going into turn 6. Didn't have any contact with racers, but a rejoin almost causes a little bit of contact with Nick Cruz. Tom finds himself in P11, so Tom trying to catch up with Parmesan takes a line that he wasn't too familiar with and is now trying to hang on to P11.
I have a feeling this is some growing pains with that new H pattern shifter.
Yes, we've seen the misshift issues before. I've definitely done it myself. And on a straightaway, you can just hurt the gearbox, but if you do it on a corner, it can be pretty costly, so certainly possible. Speaking of possible, Tommy Boy already trying to work his way back up, pulls alongside to try and make use of that side draft opportunity, but won't find the chance just yet. Patchy must have had an incident of his own as he drops back into P10. After being in a relatively close battle with Dancy and Elias Flint. We're going to jump a little bit further to El Garito, trying to make moves on Mogo for P6 currently. And then starts the big climb to Articulate Fox, about 6 seconds separating them currently and 6.5 minutes to go. So it's not out of the question, but he's got to be on pace. Garito gonna cut to the inside here through turn 5 and pull alongside the number 74. Mogo gonna slot in for the draft. Probably will go for the bump draft opportunity based on what we've seen. I don't think Garito's got to be worried about any late dive here. As we'll watch the rest of the grid go by, and Tommy Boy and Nick Cruz still trying to battle things out as they slowly start to catch up to Patchy in front. So ever since that rejoin, these two have been very close together. Tommy in that number 16 car really looking for his opportunity, trying to pick his moment. Only 5.5 minutes remaining. So we can hear the engine of Sam behind, but Sam not quite in a position yet to get the pass. Just looking at the live timings, Articulate Fox finally finding the position on Rev 174. Has to make up 3.7 seconds to Jesus in front. Going to be a difficult challenge even in the clean air. But we'll see what comes in the final 5 minutes. Tommy Boy finally finding a way by Nick Cruz. Needs to hold this pace if he wants to keep that position. Is going to try and rely on the drafting capabilities of the Miata down, of the MX5 down the final straightaway. Elias Flynn looking for the spot on the number 74 car himself. Has been in a pretty tight battle with El Garito for a large portion of this race, trying to get back within that 1 second mark and see if they can't just fight things out to the end. Elias and Mogo are currently in a battle for position, so this is an important one to get. But beyond that, I think they are on their own. So Elias has gotten the position that he needs, but I'm assuming the one that he wants is a little further up the grid, so we'll see what comes these next few minutes. Mogo might try and take this one back here. Not able to hammer on the brakes.
Elias has, oh, never mind, I take that back. Jesus just had fastest lap of the race. 103.249.
I
take it Elias had a chance for a moment.
Elias had it the past couple laps with a 103.270. So
wow, that is definitely
only,
some crazy
only
pace.
200 off.
El Garrido's got a 103.268 at the moment. So those guys are definitely evenly matched for this final battle.
I think Elias is going to need some type of incident in that 4-5-6 group if he wants to work his way up the grid. But they've been pretty solid. So
as we see a little bit of a battle still going on between Tommy Boy and Nick Cruz. Tommy Boy likely to end up in the pro class, so this is a battle for position between them. They've got Seb Bellew breathing down their neck, but unfortunately that is not going to be a contender for position with those guys, as Sam S representing the rookie class pushing pretty far along. It's crazy how close we still have a lot of these cars with 2 minutes remaining.
No, most definitely, these guys have been very good on their pace, very consistent, and it's shown. They're all super tightly packed and want to keep the racing going all the way to the end.
It looks like Josh and Woohoo will be having a battle to the end once more, as Fulton pulls back to 1.2 seconds behind. Those guys far enough along to where they will not come in to be played as lap traffic, we don't believe. As Patchy getting pretty close to the bumper of Big Dean Energy here in the final minute and a half. There's going to be 2 more laps left looking at where they are, I believe. So they've got a little bit of time to sort things out. Not a battle for a position within the class, but at this point in the game, I think, or this point in the race, rather, I think these guys are just looking for any position they can get. We're going to jump over to Parmesan in front for just a moment so that we can take a good look at the grid as everyone comes by for the final lap of the event. We've got our Parmesan Articulate Fox, Rev 174, Bot Lando, Brian number 7, El Garrito, Elias Flynn, Mogo, Dancy, Nick Cruz, Tommy Boy, Seb Bellew, Sam, and a small gap here finally as we get a little bit of a breather, and then Patchy and Big Dean Energy, who have been duking it out nonstop. Sunday Driver, and then the 20-second gap, which we will cut across the line for. Oop, did we cut too far? We might have. Yep, there we go. As we've got Woohoo Man and Josh Fulton battling things out in the end. So those guys are going to have one more full lap from where it stands. Right now, these guys are all on the final lap of the evening, so we'll try and watch some of these last-minute battles. El Garrito trying to pick up one more spot from Brian number 7 around the final corner if he can. It's going to be a tricky one. But Brian loses a little bit of speed. El Garrito has to let up to try and avoid the contact, but will get the inside lane and maybe a little bit of acceleration. Not quite enough. So Brian number 7 is going to take that one home. We'll jump a little bit further back in the grid where we've got Big Dean Energy and Patchy fighting it out. And unfortunately, it looks like that's going to be another not enough situation. As Patchy comes across P14 with Big Dean Energy, P15, Woohoo Man, and Josh Fulton, the last two to make things interesting. Can Woohoo pick up a position here in the final few corners? It's going to be close. He does have a little bit of a chance here if he can get all the way on the gas. But with that so close to the start finish line.
Oh.
Fulton makes it close for us, but does walk away with P17. And I'm assuming the dog pile. Oh, looks like everyone's already teleported to pits. Oh, these guys are serious today. Oh no, they just went around on the full lap, I guess, from what I can tell. Yeah, they're there. All right, we found our racers again. They're just all over the place. There's a rally track here, so. But that's going to do it here for week 4 of season 6. Shout out to Mo and Jawa for joining me on the broadcast tonight.
Thanks for having me, Buggy.
Of
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure to have you. We'll be excited to have you back next season racing. We'll get you back on the grid in force. But on that note,
that pro class.
we're going to end it here. And I think we'll see you guys next week for GT3. Might be the next time we broadcast. So,
Sweet.
Sounds good.
adios.